Welcome back, guys. Kyle again, giving you another video as promised. Transfers from Spain. I'll start with what I think needs to happen, and then we'll move into what has happened and rumors. So first of all, the team is missing some big players in some key positions, and I think those key positions is centre back, central midfielder, and a wide player. Now people will say, oh, you got Dembele, oh, you got Coutinho. Coutinho is a player that, if anyone that knows me, I always said no to Coutinho. Whenever there was talking about Coutinho possibility from Liverpool to Barcelona, I was like, no, this doesn't need to happen. He's not a Barcelona player. I look at three things when a player is signing for Barcelona. One, are they of Barcelona quality? You know, Barcelona have certain expectations, and you need to match a certain level of quality. Unless you are a youngster at 15, 16, 17, then you need to have a certain level of potential. We need to see that level of potential. You might not be that quality right now, but you can develop into that quality. But if you're buying someone that is a senior player, much like Coutinho, someone of age, then you need to come with a certain level of quality. And for me, he didn't have that quality. Two, are you a Barcelona type of player? Do you play in Barcelona's system? Can you play Barcelona style football? Barcelona for the longest time have always played 4-3-3, and a 4-3-3, a possession-based 4-3-3, a very patient build-up 4-3-3. That's how Barcelona have played. If you cannot play in that system, we have no business buying you. Coutinho is not that type of player. Coutinho is more of a direct player. He suits Liverpool's team of now. He suits more Real Madrid style of play. Heck, he even suits PSG, but he does not suit Barcelona. When you start buying players like Coutinho that don't suit your system, that don't suit your build, what you find happening is you start shifting the team around. You start trying to find new ways to play. Hence why we saw Valverde experiment with 4-4-2. He experimented with different kind of 4-3-3. And this never been seen before with Barcelona. I've always known, I've always seen 4-3-3 from days where we had Ronaldinho up there, to Thierry up there, to Neymar up there, on those left side in a 4-3-3. Throughout the generations, whatever era of football I've been watching Barcelona, it's always 4-3-3. And then we saw a 4-4-2, you know, when Coutinho came and etc. We saw a 4-4-2 with him wide on one side, Dembele wide on the other side, and Suarez and Messi up top in a long two. So that's what ends up happening when you start accumulating players that don't suit your system. You start to change, and I don't think that Barcelona need to change. We just need to buy players that suit our system. So for me, Coutinho was a no-no, and this is what I look at when we go in for players. And when I look at players and like, oh, who could we potentially buy that could fill these positions? I also look at that. So, like I said, we need a centre back, centre mid, and a wide player. Those are, for me, are the key positions for this summer. Obviously, there's more. We need a new holding midfielder because Busquets doesn't have it anymore. He's getting on. He's what, 31 now? 30, 31, somewhere around there. And obviously, Piqué is old. Suarez is old. Rakitic is what, 32? You know, Vidal young himself, he's about 30 as well, 30, 31. So we've got a lot of aging players in the squad. Not all need to be removed. I mean, Suarez can have one more season, but I think next summer you're looking at replacing Suarez. But that's not a key position that needs changing right now. For me, it's centre back, centre mid, and wide player, whether it's on the right or it's on the left, because Dembele is versatile. He can play either side. So you just need one other, and obviously you have Messi who can play every and anywhere. And obviously we need a holding midfielder. We do need a striker. Suarez does need to replace, but like I said, that doesn't need to be this summer. I don't think that's a priority right now. And we probably really need a fullback, a left back, not to replace Jordi Alba, but just to give him some competition, because even if he was to get injured, who goes there? Like Vermaelen goes out there. So, but again, it's not a priority. I don't think it's a priority. We're okay. I think centre back's more of a priority than fullback, than a left back. So those are the positions. But who do I think we sign in those positions? Now, we have a budget. I don't know what the budget is. Budget, what's money these days? Money is just like monopoly paper money. It's just being thrown around. Like, what even is a budget? What's a budget? It's just pay whatever you can for a player. But I'd say Koulibaly, I'd take him. Barcelona don't have Koulibaly money, so it would be silly. It would be unwise of me to expect or have expectations of signing a player like Koulibaly or that level, like a Van Dijk. Like, that's not going to happen. Players like Van Dijk, Koulibaly, what kind of centre backs? Yeah, don't see it happening. And I don't want to buy someone that only has a year or two in them. It has to be someone that has some kind of longevity in them. And I don't mean a 22-year-old. It could be someone who's 25, 26. That's at least a good 4 or 5 years if they have good age. I mean, I'd take Golden because he's on a free and he knows the Liga inside out. He's played in the Liga for years now for Atletico Madrid. He knows the whole league inside out. He knows what to do. He would come in, he would slot straight into the team, slot straight into the system, pair up with Langley, and it would be, I think it would be a pretty decent partnership between them two. It might take them a couple of weeks to gel off each other, but Diego Godin knows what he's doing. He knows that league inside out. So I'd take him on a free, but still go out and buy another. Like, if you're gonna buy someone, cool, you're gonna buy someone, but why not take him on a free? But the word on the road is that he's heading to Inter. It looks like he's gonna be heading to Inter on a free. So like we and a number of other Spanish clubs, including Real Madrid, are gonna miss out on Godin. But he is someone I would have taken. Like I said, I would have taken Koulibaly. If we can get Toby from Spurs for 30 million or less, I'd take him. But anything more than that, just forget it. But if we can get Toby for 30 million or less, I'll take him. But yeah, but there's a centre back is needed. Now, before I move on to the other positions, the rumour that I said from the last video to now that just cropped up, was a centre back. Apparently, there's a young centre back, a certain captain for a certain Dutch team, that reached the semi-final of the Champions League. You following my drift yet? There's only one Dutch team in the Champions League of the semi-final. There was only one captain for that Dutch team. You following my drift yet? Matthias de Ligt, however you want to pronounce his name. Apparently, well, he's rated as £65 million. No money has been spoken, no price has been negotiated or anything like that, or mentioned anyway. But according to Sky sources, he seems to be heading to Nou Camp this summer. He seems to be on his way to Nou Camp. Obviously, he's rated by Ajax to be around £65 million. Now, That's a heavy sum. That is a heavy sum for someone that is a centre back and he's only 19. I mean, Van Dijk broke the world record for a centre back at 75 million. But he's a senior player, well established. What is he? 27 years old. He played for years in the Premiership with Southampton. He just knew it inside out. 75 million, 65 million, 10 million pound less for someone that's about 8 years younger than him, that pretty much just started their career. That's a hefty sum. You don't even know if he's going to continue this, if it's been a 1 or 2 good seasons for him. But you know what? I'll take it because the man is quality. The man is quality, and that's the kind of quality I've been talking about. Not only is he quality, but remember what I said earlier about if you ain't got the quality, because they're young, you gotta have that potential. We've got to see that potential, and he has it in bags full and then some. So he is a player that can play for Barcelona. He is a respectable passer of the ball. I've seen him play. He's not going to be like your Busquets and your Piqué that's pinging 60 yarders and etc etc. But that's what you got 10 other players on the pitch to do, right? Not every single player needs to fit the so-called passing model, but boy, he would be a huge step in the right direction. Obviously, it'll be a new league for him, new partnership with Langley. To be fair, I actually don't know what they would do. This manager sometimes makes some decisions that is very questionable. He might even drop Langley and partner him with Piqué. Would be completely the wrong decision. But we'll see if he even joins. That is very promising. That we're going for someone of such a high caliber as Delay. So I'm pleased with that. Now, moving to central midfield role that I said that we need. Now, we need to sign someone that is of world-class status, or if they're not world-class status, world-class potential, such as Paul Pogba. Someone that can teach Arthur the ropes. When I say teach him, just have someone senior there that is an elite midfielder, so he can bounce off of. He would progress much faster, and he would become your new Xavi or Iniesta, because we had Xavi and Iniesta. Xavi carried that torch in midfield. He controlled and dominated the midfield in terms of possession, keeping the ball, very rarely misplacing the pass. He left. He passed the torch over to the mantle, to pass it over to Iniesta. Iniesta grabbed it and said, I got it, bro. Go and do your thing. Do whatever you want. I got it, bro. I'm going to hold up the team for a couple of years still. He did his thing. He held it to the torch, kept the fire burning, and then he left. And he dropped it, and no one's picked it up since. Believe me, now we're playing games where we're matching 50% possession. We've gone from the heights of 70 to 80% in games. Now we're going 50 to 50, playing teams like Liverpool, less possession. It's like no one's picked up that torch. No one's carried the fire. No one's carried the flame. And it reminds me when Paul Scholes left Man United. And for years and years and years, they searched and looked for a central midfielder to replace Scholes, and they didn't. And for a very long time, they suffered. Like in the midfield area, they lost a lot of battles in the midfield area because they couldn't find a player to replace him. So much so that the man came back out of retirement to play for them, because it was honestly that bad that they had to pull the man out of retirement because they couldn't find a midfielder to replace him. I don't want that to be us. We need to sign someone that can pick back up that torch. And I think Verratti, Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne, some of these people are unattainable, but that's the level I'm talking about. I would even bring back Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. I would take back Alcantara. You just need someone to pick back up that flame and just and reignite it and just say, here we go, boys. I've got it. Let's go again. Because that's what we're going to need if we're going to want to win Champions League, and especially if it's as soon as next season. Because when you got teams like Man City that have Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero, these players are better than our players. Sterling is better than Coutinho, he's better than Dembele. Aguero is better than Suarez. Kevin De Bruyne is better than any central midfielder than that. when you got teams that have players out there that are better than you, it's gonna be a struggle to topple them in the biggest club competition, and that's the direction that we need to take. Whether we will get them is highly unlikely. It's doubtful, and the reason why I say that is because we've spent, what is it, 65 odd million, I believe it is, on De Jong from Ajax. Again, we bought I say again, but it's an Ajax player. I linked with another Ajax player. It's like we're raiding their team. So this was official. We've officially signed De Jong, so he will be playing. But it looks like he's going to take up that more central, advanced midfield role in the team. Hopefully, it is Arthur playing alongside him. But I would have preferred a more senior, more world-class player. Not saying that he doesn't have it. He's definitely 100% got the potential and the ability to get where we need him to. But you don't want two players that have the ability, the potential in your central midfielder positions. You need someone a bit more senior that the know-hows and knows what they're doing. But sometimes you just gotta make do with the hand that you're given in life, and it wouldn't have been my first go-to signing, but I can deal with it. It's not. I'm not like I was with Coutinho. Like no, don't happen. It happened. I was upset. I didn't want it to happen. Didn't want Coutinho. I'm not down that same path. I'm down that same path with Griezmann. We'll get onto that later. And obviously, finally, a wide player. Now, I'm only looking at 2 players, potentially 3. And I tell you, bring back Neymar. He would be my least of the 3. Bring back Neymar. I wouldn't particularly want him back because I do think he's got about 2, maybe 3 years most in him. Because when do you ever see a Brazilian playing at the highest level well into their 30s? And Neymar's what, 27 now? So... And the way he's been playing recently for PSG and his injuries, and he just seems to be halting a bit, and too many injuries. Like, he just seems to be halting a bit. It looks like his time could be coming to an end very soon. I'm not saying coming to an end, the Neymar of MSN when he was at Barcelona. Like, I don't think he's going to reach that again. I don't think he's going to reach that heights. I think Mbappe has toppled him at PSG and taken him back a couple pegs, and Mbappe is taking his place. So I don't think he's going to reach those heights. So I wouldn't take him back necessarily. But, I mean, he wouldn't be my first choice. But I would take him back. But I'm not, like, crying out for it. Mbappe, 100%. I'll take 100% out on that left. And the third would be Mo Salah. I would snap up at Mo Salah. I would take Mo Salah. Those are the 3 players I'd sign as my wide players. I'd take any one of those 3. Now, neither of them are going to be cheap. All going to be in excess of 150 million, quite easily. But that's where we use Coutinho. Either use him as a bargaining tool in part exchange, or you ship him off for 100+ million. Now, because of the way he's played, you might not get back what you paid for him. But okay, you take a loss. You've bought De Jong. You might be buying De Ligt. That may be your budget, it may not be, I don't know. But obviously, you sell Coutinho and then you some more excess cash and then you buy one of those 3 players. And we are good to go. Honestly, we are good to go. Next season is a totally different season. We'll be a stronger team for it. I'm telling you, we'll be a much stronger team. And then the season after that, we get our holding midfielder, we get our striker, and that would be 5 players in key positions, and we'll be raring to go. We'll be much better for it. That's the direction.